Ladies and gentlemen, girls,
TV anime. Recently just went on a 12-minute tirade the other day about why My Hero Academia is one of the greatest shows right now. But basically, we do that. We stream on Twitch. We're a Patreon. We're just people trying time. So if there's like a movie that you're on the fence about,
that's true. That's true. And you get the same. I'm a first adopter when it comes to Marvel. First one.
It was wonderful. I love.
There are Marvel characters in this. Infinity War one, yeah.
I was like,
that'd be like 32.5 with Infinity War, and then if you include this one, you're looking at close to 35.
Something like that, yeah. And then you got Captain Marvel coming out next year. So then, interesting. That was what it was called initially, right? Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. I'm gonna guess somebody made a really funny joke and said it was gonna be called Infinity Wars because we good break.
Kind of like, let's get crazy, really weird units and stuff like that. So I picked up Total War Warhammer 2, and it was like on sale for like $45 or something. But I gotta tell you guys, I do not regret it at all. And I'm just playing through like an easy campaign right now that's like a tutorial, and it's like still really, really difficult. I feel like I'm getting better at it, but at the same time, I feel like it is something you can't do. Any of the Total War games?
I've always wanted to. I've never had a chance to. And it's
like, oh man, it's so much fun. It's really, really good. There's a lot to learn, but I feel like I'm getting somewhat of a grasp. Yeah, such a after StarCraft, but I feel like the real-time strategy games, there's only like a few really like amazing ones still, because you look at like Command and Conquer, which is one of the games that I hold like nearest and dearest, like that franchise, and now it's like going to mobile, and it's like
give it back to the old generation, make the good one again.
I was like, that's a mammoth tank game. The gameplay gets pretty shallow like once you set up your park, because like once you get it set up and perfect, it'll just be like random things are bad. It'll be like, oh, like an employee has sabotaged like a few different power stations, and you're like, oh no, sounds perfect, like every, especially Jurassic Park stuff. Then there's something to love here.
You know what's funny is that I just saw
behind the scenes of how they made it, and like that, there's some really amazing stuff. If you ever want to go back and look at like the actual practical effects, like Stan Winston doing all that stuff behind the scenes, man, what a legend. I was like, I wish we still had that. Like, it's not as much anymore. It's like,
that's what I loved about the
XCOM 2 a little while ago.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but like I thought I owned the DLC that came out back in August, I think, War for the Chosen. I don't. And I was just kind of looking at it, and I was like, fuck it, I want to play some XCOM 2. I'm going to play some XCOM 2. So I did a few run-throughs of that. And, I mean, that was fun. That game's still really good.
And it was on PS Plus, I think, a month or two ago. So
hopefully everybody who has PS Plus grabbed it then. Because it's very good and worth playing. And it works really well on a controller. And then I was playing...
I picked it up Switch, and to me, I put the subtitles on so that I could play on the Switch in bed, and it obscured everything.
Yeah, which is, you know, to read when I'm playing a game. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. I've just been I played a little bit of Skyrim. I don't know why. I was just like, I'm gonna play some Skyrim, and then I just ran around for a bit and I killed a dragon, and then I was like, all right.
Did you play it on your Alexa?
I did.
Good man.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But when that came out, I told somebody about it, and they happened to have an Alexa, and they were like, "That's not real." I was like, "Yeah, it is. Here's how you get it." And then they used it. It was totally a thing.
Yep, I played it.
Is it good?
It's fine. It's there. It's okay. You know,
it's literally one of those you dare. I downloaded it for the Alexa. I have the skill installed, but I haven't tried. But. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else that you've been, or is that basically it?
That's pretty much and ready to go. I've just started on the first one again. I'm just going to do a quick run through all three.
Sale recently? Were the Shadowrun games on sale recently? I think there were something was on sale, right?
Probably. They go on sale quite often. Actually, they probably were, because I think the developer's working on something new, so they were probably on sale to promote that. And there was the big Steam sale that just happened, so. Everything was on sale. But yeah, I quite like those games, and so I play through all 3 of them in a row every, I don't know, year or so.
That's awesome.
I
That's
want
what I
another
do.
one.
That's what I do with Link to the Past and.
No, I get it.
Fell off like. No, it's the highest level Char or something. What is that? The highest
Charizard.
Char, is it a Charizard?
Yeah.
Charmeleon is the middle one.
Charmeleon, yeah, that's the stupidest name. I have, as it's loading up. It's the kind of game that you can.
All right.
Doing it. Say this. The issue with putting on the Switch.
On my side.
I was gonna say one thing. I will.
You're gonna have issues with it.
Spoil it for anybody. You can't wait.
If it's that sort of a jump, because Mass Effect 1, I like the story, and I like the story of what I saw. This God of War, I just didn't like how it played. Mass Effect 2, I like the story, and I liked how it played. So here, fingers crossed.
Yeah, the first Mass Effect, I'm still stuck in an elevator. It's just like a loading screen. I'm still standing there. I was like, even as a kid, I was like, this is taking. Quest 8. You just be like, I'm gonna put points into swordsmanship, and then like eventually you'd get something, but you never knew like what like next ability you were gonna get.
With Dragon Quest 8, I think you're right. It may have been 12. Well, parents are trying more and more. Parents didn't even think of that.
There's other little events that keep happening that are a big deal because they're in this game. Will allow them to do this, and it will just make people look at Epic as like a good PR move. You know, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make stuff for them because I'm gonna see a little bit more for myself. As opposed to the 70-30. So
that whole thing was like some weird like inside the game ARG type deal, and now it's over. What does the 88 mean? Is that important? Does that mean anything? Is there any significance to the specific amounts that they've chosen? Is this the new ARG?
It's all a part of the ARG. Is the 88?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like really, that seems like such a weird split. Like, why not 80-20? Why not 90-10? Like, why is it 88-12? Like, that's such a weird split.
Had they gone to even 80-20, people would have thought, oh, it's a massive jump. 80.
Weird. I think there's something up. I think it's a ploy. I think it's a plot.
The plot thickens. Well, they just released their.
One of the things that paved the way for this and potentially like The Witcher going to be on Netflix and all this other stuff, I think is Game of Thrones, because it basically said, hey, here's. So I'm hoping that Showtime has the games. So
adapted by the.
Set a date. I don't have a passport, so it's a little tricky, but no, there was the very original back and forth between the Arenanet writer and the dipshit on Twitter was
Jessica Price.
Jessica Price, thank you, was very mild. Like, it's nothing, and I don't think it's nothing in any other situation, or if she had been a dude, anybody would have batted an eye at. And in fact, didn't, when the other guy from Arenanet was also jumping in to explain what she was explaining. Nobody batted an eye at that guy. Whole thing's fucked up.
Whole thing, yeah, it's
gross.
It is. It's
had sent the same sort of complaint to her company.
Oh, I see.
And they forgot. It was like it was right a form letter, and it was like % female name instead of her name or something like that, and like that form letter. I guess.
Yeah. And so again, this is what happens with social media, is that you get these groups. Stuff like us.
His exit from the industry, then fucking good on him. Like, get out there and do it, because I think I said it when this was first going on. If you've been a freelancer for more than a month, actually out there freelancing, like getting pitches accepted, getting pitches rejected, you have dealt with a situation like this at some point or another. I was saying, like, I empathize with the dude because back in the day, I made a back when just after I got my journalism degree, I had pitched a really, really in-depth, like, hard-hitting journalistic article about a game that had come out at the time to a then big website. They got back to me. They said, this isn't really what we're looking for. This isn't what we're about. That part's fine. That's freelancing. Like, they don't want your thing, pitch it somewhere else.
Rejection is rejection. You just got to deal with it. Yeah.
That part's totally cool. And then not a week later, my entire pitch had been dissected and split up into a week's worth of content written by the dude I pitched to. So, like, I've seen the shitty end of freelancing, and, like, I can't blame this dude. If he is intending to keep working in the industry, he's going to have a real hard time of it, because he was not what I would call professional, but I can't say anything about what he did because, you know, fuck that kind of treatment. And the worst part is I can almost see it from the other side. If you look at the dates that he provided, it's right before E3. So there's a very valid reason why Kevin McDonald would have been busy. You know, so, I mean, you can see it. Where that falls apart for me is the fact that it was an accepted pitch that was asked to be rushed. That means in the world of freelancers, you know, freelancing is being willing to do a shitload of work to then be paid months later. Usually that's what freelancing is. And so the way freelancers offset that is by doing a lot of work. So any freelancer, like any serious full-time freelancer at any point, might be waiting on, you know, 6 or 7 paychecks. And then they're always doing more work. And then the older paychecks are rolling in, which keep them afloat as they're making more, you know, of a buffer. To ask a freelancer articles for other places because this person wants you to rush a thing, and then they ghost you for like 2 months, and that's fucked up, especially on an article that's not evergreen.
Right. Oh, yeah.
His article, I haven't seen it yet. He says it's going to be up somewhere at some point, and I'd love to read it, but if it's not evergreen, like, it has no value once the topic at hand is done. And he got screwed like that. So, like, yeah, that totally sucks, and I absolutely feel for that guy and side with that guy.
Jimmy,
never got to the point where I'm like going on Twitter and I'm like, F this guy for not being on my show, like person who maybe figure this out. And it's like oh, and that's got gold.
That's exactly where I was going with this. I'm glad you're. That's fantastic. That's sweet. Yep. I mean, when I do. So yeah,
pitch on why where you can read the things I wrote and look at videos that I record for those things I wrote. That's pretty much it.
Excellent.
Twitter. You want to get at me on Twitter. I'll fight anyone.
He'll fight, and he will. He does a good job of fighting. You can find me at Dolly Domovsky on Twitter and on Twitch and